as fierce rivals go head-to-head, toe-to-toe. That is absolutely wonderful! It's glory, glory to the high bees. Phenomenal goal! This is the stuff of dreams! It just gets better and better!
Edinburgh expects. Robbie Nielsen's Hearts ran away with the championship title last season, but could only beat Hibs once in 4 attempts. Now they're third in the Premiership and haven't lost any of their last 7 games. Alan Stubbs returns to the ground where Hibs won the League Cup semi-final just last weekend. They remain in the Championship but beat Premiership Aberdeen, Dundee United and St Johnstone on the way to Hampden. They look like Cup specialists. Scotland's oldest city derby was supposed to be in cold storage this season, but Premiership Hearts and Championship Hibs do collide thanks to the William Hill Scottish Cup draw. It's exclusively live on Sky Sports 2 and on Sky Go. Welcome to the tie of the round then in the William Hill Scottish Cup. This one will be a cracker in this wonderful atmospheric stadium. The game sold out within hours of tickets going on sale. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by 2 men who scored in this derby. With a bad haircut, Sky's Neil McCann played in Hearts' legendary Scottish Cup winning team of 1998. And when Andy Murray put down his tennis racket to go to Easter Road as a kid back in the 1990s, his favourite player was the man who recently guided Northern Ireland to the Euros. That's Michael O'Neill. Welcome to you both. Michael, before we start on this game, there's been a lot of stories linking you with a return to club management. The stories have been around in Northern Ireland and in Scotland. What can you say about that?
Well, I mean, as I say, speculation is I suppose, part of the job as a football manager, and good or bad. But you know, my only focus is purely on the Northern Ireland situation, the preparation for the finals. We've done a lot of work in the last 3 months in terms of our preparation. That'll continue between now and the tournament in June, and it's an exciting time for everyone in Northern Ireland, and I'm looking forward to the finals. So
it's all about the Euros, even if Real Madrid came in for you?
Certainly, yes.
Good luck with that then. Good to clear that one up. How big a game is this one, this particular derby, in unusual circumstances?
Yeah, I think it's a huge game, given I think the games last year in the Championship were very keenly contested, very little between the sides. Hearts have come up, deserved to come up, and have been, you know, really good in the Premier League this year. And again, I think that it'll be a chance for Hibs to benchmark themselves a little bit. They've had a great season. They got through to the League Cup final already, which I think is a nice bonus for them. Takes a little bit of the pressure maybe off this game for them, and obviously they're challenging Rangers for the title in the Championship as well.
Do you agree that the pressure is all on Hearts?
To a certain degree, yes. But I think there's always pressure on Hibs. Every year the Scottish Cup comes about, the Hibs fans are wishing that this is going to be the year. It's been such a long time. I don't like to mention it, I know you did earlier, the year. I don't want to upset the Hibs fans out there, but I think that the pressure is on always the Premiership sides. And I think it's almost a different style of football we're going to see today. I think Hibs have been really expressive, and there's a young vibrancy about them, whereas Hearts are almost such a structured side. I know they've got young players within it, but it's such a powerful structured side. So these two teams are going to collide today, and I think we're in for an absolute cracker.
There were half the team was booked for Hearts when they beat Aberdeen in the last round here. A lot is made about the physicality of Hearts. Is that fair? And if so, can Hibs match them in that department?
I don't think it's fair. I've seen Hearts a couple of times this season. I wouldn't say they're an overly physical team. In terms of stature and height, they're a big team, you know. And I think it'll only play a part in set pieces. I always know, like, as a manager, when you're setting your team up, and you'll know this, Neil, is that like when you get your match up with set pieces, and you always have concerns. Yeah. And I think when Alan's probably done that in this game, that'll be his concern, maybe in some of his matchups. But he's going to need his players to stand up to it. He spoke beforehand, and I think he's emphasised the point that they will have to deal with Hearts, particularly when it comes to the set piece situation.
Well, let's look at the team that Alan Stubbs and first of all Robbie Nielsen have picked for this one. Hearts top goal scorer Osman Sow is not involved. He of course is moving to China, and clearly they don't want to jeopardise that £1.5 million transfer fee. He's replaced by Abiola Dauda. Now Dauda joined on loan from Vitesse Arnhem on Monday. The other two deadline day signings, Don Cowie and John Souttar, are both on the bench. Jordan McGee was supposed to move to Middlesbrough on deadline day. That seemed to fall down because of some administrative problem. He plays in this one, and he replaces Igor Rossi, who is suspended at fullback. Now, Hibs have recalled the three players who were rested for Tuesday's win at Morton. That's skipper David Gray, centre-back Paul Hanlon and top goalscorer Jason Cummings. Midfielder Fraser Fyvie injured his knee ligaments in Greenock. He's out for a while, and he is replaced today by Marvin Bartley. How big a loss is it for Hearts that they've lost the top goalscorer Osman Sow?
It's a big loss. I always felt that Osman Sow could do more for the team in terms of his running and actually being a better all-round team player when they're in possession of the ball and offering himself more. But he scored goals. But the amount of money that they've recaptured for the sale of Sow is incredible, and you couldn't refuse that type of money. So they've gone out, they've got Dowda in here, he starts today, and it'll be interesting how he does with young Riley, because I think young Riley helped Osman Sow recently. His work rate and movement up top became a real good partnership for them, so it'll be interesting to see how they do today. OK, well, Hearts, of course, famously beat Hibernian in the 2012 Scottish Cup final, the biggest ever Edinburgh derby. They beat them 5-1 as well. The manager then was Paulo Sergio, who left after the game, and the Portuguese has been tempted back to Scotland for the first time since Hampden Park, and he's now with Charles Pattison.
Paulo, great to see you. How does it feel to be back at Tynecastle on Derby Day?
Yeah, that brings me fantastic memories. It's a big pleasure to be here and seeing people that I don't see after 3-4 years. So it's a great feeling for me. 4
years since you won 5-1 at Hampden. What's the biggest memory of that day?
Oh, the biggest memory is the happiness of all these people. It's unforgettable. Very proud to be part of this fantastic football club.
And what do you think about today?
Oh, I believe it's going to be tied. These derby games are always tied. Difficult game, but I believe Hearts is favourite, and in the end of the day, we'll get the result.
Paulo, great to see you. Enjoy the game this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Paulo Sergio, and I have to remind you that on the first defence of their cup, Hearts lost to Hibs at Easter Road the following season. Do you think Hibs have recovered from the impact of that defeat, the margin of the defeat, and all the detritus that followed that?
Yeah, I think so. Well, there's certainly a long way along that progress or journey in terms of that. You know, ultimately, when they get back to the top level of Scottish football, I think they'll have recovered from it. But it's a different manager, a different set of players. A lot of changes at the club as well. Living here in Edinburgh, I saw the effect that had on Hibs fans as well. It's a result that is never going to go away. They're always going to be reminded of that. But I think what they have done is, they've had their bad times. They're working their way back through it again. They put a young manager in who has done a great job, has recruited very well, and I think as I say, they're well down the journey in terms of that recovery. But ultimately, when they get back to the top level of Scottish football, it'll be complete.
Now, put your international hat on here. Callum Paterson has been starting for Hearts at right back this season. Do you think he might get a look in with Gordon Strachan?
Yeah, I think he's got a chance. I think in March, I think it's been talked about Gordon possibly picking two squads for the games, a home-based squad for the second game, and certainly players like him, I think, will come into consideration for that. He's a good player, I think, a young player, again, good stature, good physical attributes as well, and also was a goal threat as well. But, I do like him. I think he's a player with a bright future ahead of him.
He was on the bench, of course, when Scotland played England last season. How versatile is Callum Paterson?
Well, he's played in a number of positions, David, but at fullback, I think Callum would say it himself that he needs to work more on his 1v1 situations, because he's quick and he's strong, and he needs to maybe brush up on those aspects. But as a member of that back four, I think he's been outstanding, and I've got some clips that I like to show you, and especially with Rossi missing today is going to be so important. The ones that I've shown here is being part of a unit and how well he defends. I like guys who want to defend. I'm just going to highlight him here for everyone to see. There he is there, and we run it on. So being part of the back four, you need to be organised, you need to be disciplined, and you need to be aware of situations. So I'm going to get a little pause on it, and you can see him there, just a little turn of the head, David. He's keeping an eye on that's his man there, so he's aware of him. And as we clear it, we run it on, I'm going to highlight Kane Hemmings. He then becomes the most dangerous player, because Augustine gets dragged away to the ball, which is the player standing next to him. So run it on, watch what he does. just there you go. He takes a step inwards there because Kane Hemmings is dangerous. That's gone, now it's out, and doing what fullback should do to stop crosses coming in the box. Again, a little pause on it there. There's your two centre-backs, one ahead of the game, one ahead of the front post, and there's Callum Patterson exactly where he should be, not allowing the wide man to get in and get a header in front of him. And as Michael said, he's very good in the air, he gets good distance in his clearances. Again, he's covering his centre-back, he's clearing up the danger. But when he's in forward positions, he's got this in his locker. I was raving about how bad it was yesterday, about the lack of good quality balls from wide areas and early balls. He can deliver these in wide areas and supply ammunition for the strikers. And when he's not putting them in, he's prepared to go forward because he's got an engine, he's got legs, he's got pace, and he's also got a cheeky little finish on him. I'm not so sure about the celebrations, but I think he's become a real big player for Hearts, and at 21 years old, he's got so much ahead of him.
OK, we'll see how he gets on this afternoon. Now, the Hibernian supporters are arriving here at Tynecastle. They enjoyed the trip here last week. It was neutral territory then for the League Cup semi-final when they were in the majority. Today it's the home of the Hearts and they'll be outnumbered, but they are confident, that's for sure. Window. Anthony Stokes has joined from Celtic, and next we examine and talk to the new look Hibernian strike partnership. It's the Edinburgh Derby on Sky Sports. Hibernian have travelled across town with dreams of a cup double, maybe even a championship treble. Michael O'Neill and Neil McCann join me here at Tynecastle. Let's hear now from the new front pairing at Hibernian. Jason Cummings, the club's top goal scorer, is joined now by Anthony Stokes, who's just rejoined the club on loan from Celtic.
The players here that we've got are different class. Individually, it's one of the best teams I've played in. The squad is brilliant, and bringing in Stokes, he just adds tremendous ability.
I have it in my head that I'm going back to Celtic at the end of the season to fight for my place and try and get back into the team. You know, I've no other thoughts in my head, but while I'm at Hibs here, I really want to make the most of it. I want to try and help the team as much as I possibly can, score goals. I want to work on my fitness and get myself as sharp as I possibly can, because at the minute I'm a bit off the pace, and I felt it the other night.
He's got the toe poke in his locker as well, so if you've got the toe poke and the fresh Barnet as well, he's got that new Barnet going as well, so the defenders are panicking now. Right?
And here's Stokes, and he scored! That's incredible!
On a personal level, it's nice to say that you've scored in a derby, but if it's not getting you 3 points or through to the next round, it means nothing really.
Hibs have the lead through Jason Cummings!
I've scored at Easter Road and at Tynecastle, and it was probably one of the best feelings in the world. It's a massive occasion, especially for coming from Edinburgh. Obviously, my history with Hearts and them letting me go, so on a personal level, it was a great feeling for me, and a buzz that I've never had since, and hopefully I can get it again.
I think you can see with the gaffer, you know, he gives everyone plenty of freedom to play their football and express themselves on the pitch, and I think as well it's a young enough squad, so I don't think there's that sort of fear going into big games. I think, you know, everyone's just looking forward to the games and looking forward to going out, expressing themselves and trying to get a result and play well.
It's very hostile at Tynecastle. It's obviously it's very loud, and it's exciting. If anything, it gives you that extra yard, and it gives you a wee boost to work harder. So I enjoy it there.
Played in Glasgow derbies as well. They're lively occasions, but I think I've learned through a bit of experience that you just need to take it like any other game. I think an atmosphere like this, it sets the tone for the football. You know, for 10-15 minutes there's going to be tackles going in, but it's whoever settles into the game and, you know, really adapts to the surroundings and the atmosphere that 9 times out of 10 comes out on top.
How good a signing might Anthony Stokes be for Hibernian, and were you surprised that Celtic let him go? I mean, could they do with him at the moment?
Yeah, I do. I was talking to Michael there, and I think we both agree that Anthony Stokes could be performing for Celtic. He's come to Hibs to get himself games, get himself goals, and I think he's too good for the Championship. I'm not sure Hibs are good enough to claw Rangers back in the Championship, if I'm honest, but what I would say is, if they're in the playoff position, this guy could shoot them to the Premiership. through the playoff positions. I think he'll pose Hearts all sorts of problems today. He's so clever. He sees passes, he pulls people around, and that will allow Cummings just to go in, to be the one that goes in behind and play on the shoulder. But a terrific signing. I was very surprised that Alan Stubbs got him, actually.
I know, having spoken to Anthony Stokes privately, and I'm going to be indiscreet now, but he's away from Celtic. He hated playing wide left under Ronnie Dyler. He's playing in a front two today. Is that his best position?
Yeah, I think that's his best position. I've seen him play for Celtic on numerous occasions off the left, and to be fair, I thought he did well. I think it always gives you a goal threat from that area of the pitch as well. But his best position is through the middle, and he has scored goals pretty much everywhere he's been at. I agree with Neil. He's dropped the level. He's better than the Championship level. There's no doubt about that. But I think he's had a difficult sort of 12 months, and he needs to get playing football. And he has obviously harbours ambitions possibly to be part of Martin O'Neill's squad for the European finals as well. So I think Hibs are getting him at a good time because he's a player that's fully focused.
Jordan Cummings got 18 goals. Jason Cummings, might he change the way that he plays with Stokes, and will he learn from Anthony Stokes?
I think this boy's improving rapidly. I love his interviews, I have to tell you, but because he's got something about him. He's got a little bit of...
He's cocky, isn't he?
Zing, yeah, to use his word, is it? But what he'll do is improve immensely under Anthony Stokes, because, as I said, Anthony Stokes is such a clever footballer. He'll talk to him all game. He'll learn from his movement. He'll add not only goals to his game, I think he'll add movement and such a cleverness all round, which you can only get from quality players. So a real good signing that will just complement Cummings.
Well, in the four derbies last season, both Robbie Neilson and Alan Stubbs enjoyed one win apiece. The other two were drawn. Let's hear from them now. They're with Charles Patterson.
The form of both teams is good coming into this. What makes you think that Hearts can find the edge today?
Yeah, look, we're at home, which makes a big difference to us. We're in great form recently. We've got very good players, and we're in a good position at the moment, and I think the players are ready for it and ready to go and win the game.
Do the conditions help you today if you want to outmatch Hibernian physically?
I don't think it's physically. It's going to be a game of football. It's going to be an athletic game, and I think we've got good players that will perform well today.
Alan, how much of a boost do you think mentally your players will get from having won here in the League Cup last week?
I think it'll certainly help them. How much of a boost they need already, I'm not too sure. They know what they've got to do today. They're playing really well at the moment, and the confidence is sky high. So we're looking forward to the game. It's got the makings of a brilliant game.
And the atmosphere is building here now. Coming up then, it's the tie of the round in the William Hill Scottish Cup. The Edinburgh Derby is live on Sky Sports next.
Edinburgh's fierce rivals go head to head, toe to toe. This is the start of dreams. It just gets better and better.
Tynecastle bids a fond farewell to Osman Sow, who's been sold to Henjan Zhangje in China for no less than £1.5 million. A fantastic bit of business. Now I'm joined here as the atmosphere builds at Tynecastle by Neil McCann and the Northern Ireland manager Michael O'Neill, who played for Hibs, of course. Well, Michael, how are they going to match up tactically then?
Well, they're both 4-4-2 the way they're set up, which is refreshing to see both teams play with two strikers. I think Hibs will play with a diamond in the middle of the pitch, which I'll be interested to see how Hearts deal with Henderson. I think he can give them a problem, but equally I think there's a big onus on McGee up, because he's going to have to get out and help David Gray in particular with Nicholson on that side. So it's going to be interesting, I think, particularly the shape of the two midfields. Someone generally has to change their shape slightly if one team gets dominance.
We saw yesterday Rangers from the Championship, top goal scorers in the country, taking on the team with the worst defence in the Premiership, and it finished 0-0. Kilmarnock did well. Does that give you a guide that it's going to be tough for Hibs up against that team from the division above?
Well, yes, but I think Hibs are a very good side, and a very good side within the Championship, and Hibs have only conceded, I think it's 10 goals this season, so up there along with the best defences in the country, so they know how to defend. What Michael's talking about there is really interesting about the diamond shape and the flat four of Hearts. Because Hearts are playing two up as well, then the full-backs who normally maraud forward for Hibs will need to protect a little bit more, and that will free up Nicholson, and the points Michael's making. If that midfield diamond of Hibs don't flatten out, then they could be in for a bit of trouble out in the wide areas. But the game's so perfectly balanced. This place is absolutely buzzing, as you can hear. I just can't wait for it to get going.
It is absolutely fantastic. There's nothing quite like Tynecastle on a big match day, and this Edinburgh derby is massive. Let's join our commentators then, the former Hibs striker Andy Walker and Ian Crocker.
Well, they were drawn together in the rehearsal and they were drawn together in the real thing. There is just no keeping them apart. An epic rivalry renewed. Hearts and Hibs at each other again, and we have an awesome atmosphere for a cracking cup tie. Top scorer Osman Sow doesn't get to play a final game before his move to China, so there's a debut for Nigerian striker Abiola Dauda, a deadline day arrival from Vitesse Arnhem. First derbies too for Augustine Joom and Riley. Jordan McGee replaces the suspended Igor Rossi, and Sam Nicholson is back from injury. 4 players are a yellow card away from a cup ban: Alexander, Patterson, Öztürk and Payado. Hibs make 2 changes from the League Cup semi-final win over St Johnstone here last weekend. Marvin Bartley replaces the injured Fraser Fyvie. Paul Hanlon comes in for Liam Fontaine, who drops to the bench after tweaking a hamstring. 4 of the team experienced their first derby, but Jason Cummings has scored in the last 2, and Anthony Stokes knows all about these occasions as well.